Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Mountain Man Monday. I'm your host, Mr. Mountain Man, coming to you live from the beautiful mountains of Western North Carolina. Today is live stream episode number 108, and the date is March the 21st, 2022. I want to welcome everyone that joins me here this evening live and anyone who may be watching later. This live stream and all of them, as always, are available on the Mr. Mountain Man YouTube channel. Want to give an extra warm welcome to anybody new who might be listening or watching for the first time. Hopefully you enjoy the content we get together almost every Monday, or when I'm available and able to talk about the cool things going on here in Western North Carolina surrounding and other neat topics surrounding the community. So again, hope everybody's doing well. We are finally getting into the spring season. I think it officially started yesterday, if I'm not mistaken. I thought the 21st was the spring equinox, or what I believe it's called, but I not sure. I've got an article. I think it may have been yesterday. We're warming up. Things are nice. The mountains are starting. I wouldn't say like the leaves are, in full bloom or anything, but the grass is starting to green up in some of the bushes, and we've had some flowers. We did have a cold snap about a week ago, but it's been very nice since. So not sure where you are. I know some people up north are still dealing with snow and frigid temperatures, and some people in the south are probably already feeling like it's getting towards summer a little bit, but it's been pretty pleasant here, so can't complain. Anyway, let us know how you're doing. Say hello to a couple folks that have already joined. We got JQ. Hey, Mr. Mountain Man, hello to you. I hope you're having a great start to your week and a nice Monday. Glad you could make it. Larry is here. Happy Mountain Man Monday. Hope everyone is doing well. Doing pretty well. Larry, how's it going your way? I know you were traveling between out west and to the Midwest, and so hopefully everything is going well your way with travels and such. Yes, it was yesterday. Okay, yeah, because I always thought it was always on the 21st, like December 21st, March 21st, June 21st, and then September 21st. I thought to round them out, but I guess sometimes depending on the calendar and whatnot, it's on the 20th. And so spring is here. Spring has sprung, or whatever they say. And so anyway, winter has been nice. We did get a few, we got one really big snow in January. We had a late start to winter. Just to recap, I mean, I think New Year's Day, I've mentioned, I had a post where it was like 78 degrees. It was a very warm Christmas time. We had about a 2-month winter with a cold snap last weekend, a very unusual one. It had been 80 and then it got really frigid, but winter was still here. And so we got just a trace of snow, and it was pretty cool. Wanted to kind of chase the snow, but it was so short-lived because it had been warm that it really didn't stick well. And I thought about going north and trying to do some sledding again, but I'm not sure how much hope it would have been. Honestly, by 1 or 2 on that Saturday about a week ago, it was almost all melted. So, but yeah, hey, Foxy's here. Time has sprung forward. Yes, we got the hour. Well, we lost an hour, but now the daylight was. I always forget but daylight savings. We have, it's lighter later in the evening. That's the long and the short of it. It's just nice to not look outside at like 7:30 and it's already pitch black. It is more pleasant in the evening hours. I think, going for walks or doing things in the yard or whatever needs to get done outside, or just sitting outside, whatever, it is much nicer. Spring has sprung, but nothing springs me into action more than seeing Mr. Mountain Man spring into action on the Mr. Mountain Man YouTube. Monday, Mountain Man live stream Monday. We got that. We got the hammer going. Great hammer. I always talk about this buddy at the White Lab Workshop. He's been real busy. He hasn't had time to put out videos, but that's the cool thing about YouTube, is that even if the videos are older, nobody really tell. I mean, woodworking and a lot of these videos are timeless. So, but he made me this. It's really cool. I mean, this is neat. It's, solid wood, and it looks like Thor's hammer. And anyway, it's a cool thing to have for the channel and show off during the live stream. Smoky Mountain Man, how are you doing today? I'm doing well. Everything is moving along, and just like I said, enjoying the new season. And as always, very pleasant to see your avatar picture right there with the mountains. That is very cool. Larry's out in sunny California. Are you having fatigue from being out there or still enjoying it? A ton of people love California. And the few times I've visited out there, I've mentioned like San Francisco, but San Diego is another place. I think you had mentioned more like LA, but San Diego, I've been out there twice, I think. I understand why people like it as far as the weather. I mean, the outside temperature is like inside temperature. I mean, it's like always like a perfect like 70, 72 degrees. It's pretty interesting how the water keeps that temperature relegated, and it's pretty nice. Missed most of the winter. Oh darn, I know, especially in northern Ohio. You're shoveling snow, and it's. I used to say that when I lived in Florida, I missed winter until January the 2nd, and then I was happy to be in Florida. I don't feel the same like I used to. I don't mind winter being the full season that it is. I mentioned several times, it does start to grow a little long in the tooth, probably late February, early March, especially if we're not getting snow. Like if it's still snow and we're doing wintertime activities, great. But if it's just like these 40, 50-degree days and there's no leaves on the trees, some of that, and it's not the holiday season, obviously, we're well past that, then you start getting that feeling like it would be enjoyable if, spring was here. But here in the mountains, every season brings something interesting, especially if you like outdoor activities, if you want to go hiking, or even if you just like sitting outside on the porch or whatever, just enjoying the air, the different times of the year. It's pretty nice. We got Tommy Tom here. Hello all to you as well. Hope you're having a great start to your week and a nice Monday. We got somebody going over to Pigeon Forge. I just picking out the acronym there, although PF could be, I don't know, we could PF Chang's or what other things with PF. Pigeon Forge. I mentioned the restaurant, some other stuff, but I know you're going to Pigeon Forge, and that's a nice time of the year. Beginning of April, school systems all throughout the country are staggered at different times. Some people are March, some people are right at Easter, some people are in the middle. So it's kind of probably busy, in lots of touristy areas from about mid-March to, the week ending Easter. And so there'll be some uptick in crowds, but by that time you'll start to have, leaves on the trees. It'll be nice. I mentioned 3-4 years ago, went over there about that time, maybe second week of April, and it was a real neat mixture because we went over. It's probably one of the last times I was in Cades Cove, but out in the distance you could see snow-capped mountains. So it's a cool time of the year. Hey, Rita's here. Hello, Mr. Mountain. Welcome back to the Monday Night Live chat. I know, and I appreciate everybody being understanding. It is difficult to do this every single Monday. Not for being here for you all, but just how full everything is with, life and family and things around the house. Sometimes it's challenging to break all the routine that is necessary in order to do this without being, to me, anything past 9:30 is getting super ridiculously late. This is about as late as I wanted to start it, but I'm very happy that it's starting at 9:30. Sorry, I think I took myself out of, well, that made it even worse. There we go. And so a quick update on the Starlink, which I got, which I'm really excited about. The thing about Starlink is the router it comes with, which is really cool, is proprietary, and there are no Ethernet ports on it, meaning you cannot extend your network, you cannot add a mesh network, you cannot add your own router. You basically have the one router. If you're trying to just cover a certain space or something and one router is all you need, you're set to go. But if you use like a mesh network where you extend it to all the nooks and crannies of where you live, which is what I had previously, you need something that you can basically pass through. And so they make an Ethernet adapter. Starlink sells it, that all their equipment is proprietary, or you have to buy through them. And I ordered it at the beginning of March, and it was supposed to like ship this week. And I checked again today, and it's not shipping until like another 3 weeks from now. So I can't set up my extended network on Starlink until I get all that stuff, or until I get that, then I can hook up the routers and the mesh network. That network is proving to be very nice and much faster than what I have now. But this computer is not close enough to the router, as we found 2 weeks ago, in order to leverage that. So I'm still using the old network. The good thing is I don't have to go and tell everybody to get off the network, because this basically only a few computers remain left on it. So hopefully in, I guess with that delay now, it'd probably be about a month from now, but be getting some crystal clear live streams whenever, that needs to happen for this wonderful backdrop of two brown colored walls with that cool picture behind me. Let's see. Let me see what else is going on here. Where I lost my comment. Where was I? Right here. Blondie's Adventures says hello. Hello, Blondie's Adventures. How are you doing today? Hope you are doing well. Saying howdy to everyone. Mom is here from the parental units. Yeah. Hi, Mom and Dad. I love you guys. I hope you are doing well this week. Good to see you here. And hope things are going well up your way, and maybe getting a little taste of spring as well. We are planning to meet up with Will and Dawn and Chris and Mindy, JQ and JQ. Oh, or telling JQ. That's really cool. And it's really nice when people are able to do the meetups and put a name or a face with a name, excuse me. And so that's really fun that you'll be able to do that. Yes, loving some spring. And like I said, every season is neat, but the mountains, what has become one of my favorite months is May in this area. May the weather is superb. You're basically in the thick of things, everything growing. You don't have that summer heat yet. The mornings are crisp, clean mountain air. Like when you go to Walmart and you see, and you're picking out laundry detergent or dishwasher, or dish liquid or whatever, and they all say mountain breeze. Like, this is the real mountain breeze. You smell, and it's really fresh and crisp. Everything's in bloom. So the morning temperatures are fantastic, and daytime temps. We've had some crazy ends of May before, like a few years ago, where it was like in the 90s, but it's very unusual. Normally it's 70s, maybe 80 as a high. It's a great, great month. And so, but not rushing it, enjoying right now as we're really just in the early part of the mountain spring right now. So from the avatar, that is Klingman's Dome right there in the bottom left. It's a beautiful picture. Klingman's Dome, much like Mount Mitchell and any other high peak, if you visit on a clear day, offers, extensive views for, 10, 50, 100 miles, who knows, exactly. And that is a beautiful picture. To me, on paper, it's a shock. I have not been to Klingman's Dome. It's just the only reason why is because the few times we've gone kind of in that area, it's been winter and it's closed. And in the summer, we were just doing other things. And so I need to make a special trip over there. Although the last few years, as some of the news articles have shown and other people know, that part of the Great Smoky Mountains National Park is very, very busy. And these days I tend to appreciate more the serenity and the kind of peaceful nature, rather than dealing with like heavy crowds and not being able to find a parking spot. But I would definitely want to get up to Klingman's Dome. That is a cool looking place. Larry says LA weather is great, lots to do. Do not like the traffic, and that is all understandable. LA is such a culturally just a wonderful place, a massive amount of neighborhoods and areas, and sure, great food and history, and just a lot going on there. I've only passed through the airport. I've never actually been there. I appreciate that, Blondie's Adventures. Thank you to you and to anyone who supports the channel. That is always appreciated, and hope you all enjoy the content. Let's see. Everybody's saying howdy, 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 howdy. Oh, hey, Hope Faith is here, needing prayers. Got lots going on. Lost a loved one and close to losing another one. Plus, health issues going on as well. Please keep me and my family when you pray. Absolutely, hope, faith. And I hope maybe that, just, being able to hang out here for a few minutes may brighten your day with the other friendly folks that are here in the chat. And certainly in your prayers for your family and for your friends and things that are going on for you. Let's see here. Ted and Deborah Harrison are here saying hello. Greetings, Mr. Mountain Man, and everyone in the chat, to you as well. Just getting it kicked off, talking about enjoying the new season. I think last time we had a season change, it was right at Christmas time and fall was done and everything. So it's exciting to talk about the new things. You do look crisp and clear tonight. So I don't have, again, it's not on Starlink, but I have the advantage that everything has been moved over pretty much to the new network, testing it out, putting it to its full extent. So this hopefully is in pretty good condition. Also, I have no idea. I've wondered, but I haven't put a lot of thought because you can't really find out if over time, YouTube does any kind of prioritization or throttling of channels based on viewership or tenure or things like that. I don't know that to be a fact or not a fact. But it may be a channel in its infancy starting a live stream may not get the priority through their servers like in a more established channel. And I don't even necessarily mean like subscribers necessarily, but anyway, I have no idea. But I have noticed that over time, all the live streams on this existing network have seemed to have gotten better, but who knows factually? I'm not really sure. Hey, Brian Fisher, hope you're having a great start to your week and a nice Monday. Everybody's saying hello. You have been driving your Mustang. We drove our, have you been driving your Mustang? We drove ours today. Absolutely. And I know Traveling Hoosier loves the California special. And yes, I doing a little bit of maintenance on it. I needed to do like a flush and fill on the radiator and, clean up some of the, underbody and some stuff while I was tending to that. So just some light items, but yes, my car is is not a show car only, although it often is because of the nature of it, but I drive it. And so I enjoy it and drive it. And I'm fortunate that our winters aren't that harsh. It was a little annoying when we got that snow, although I love the snow because of the salt. And I really didn't want to jeopardize too much driving around. And then it was tough because they put down a bunch of salt and we had like 20 sunny days in a row. And eventually I was getting tired waiting for a rain to wash the salt away. So I said, the heck with it. And I drove the car anyway. The underbody on my car is not perfect. There's a little bit of rust naturally, but as if most people don't look on the underside of the cars, but just talking about that. But yes, hope you're enjoying it. And kind of to that end, my other channel, and I know Traveling Hoosier watched it because I think he was the first one to put a comment. I had a year-old video. My goodness. I set records in the opposite of expediency. I went to Ponies in the Smokies last March 2021, kind of ad hoc, had no plans to film a video because I was with a friend, a nice friend, but I don't hang out with that much. And I didn't want to occupy the time kind of rudely doing any kind of filming. So I had no intention. But there was this gap where he was busy and off doing some stuff. And I had like 25 or 30 minutes. And I'm like, let me just whip out the camera and do this and I'll do a voiceover. And why I didn't get that out in a timely manner, I think it was just because the voiceover was like, well, that's going to be a pain to move the mic and edit it on the other computer. So I'm just going to, I just kept punting on it. And then I finally edited it because it was going to be over a year. The next Ponies and Smokies would have come out and it would have been confusing. So I got that out and I liked how the video came out. I thought it was pretty good. When it was done, I was like, should have done this like say 11 and a half months ago. So I got to find it funny. I'm like so late putting stuff out. But anyway, I always enjoy driving in the Mustang. My coworker has Starlink and he likes it. He drives a Tesla too. He's quite an Elon Musk fan. I'm not as much, but it was pretty cool what he did for Ukraine to get an internet service. It was. And that was kind of neat on the nature of it to be able to, that's the coolness of that technology. They don't have all the, don't quote me on it. I can't remember. Is it 2,500 or 3,000 tiny satellites they're putting up in space so that Starlink works? And, but they don't have them all up yet. They're sending them in batches. That's why not everybody has coverage yet. And so when they release coverage, or when coverage becomes active, then they can ship the kits. And so what's happening, the very, tragic and horrible thing that's going on over there in Ukraine, they were able to shift some of the resources and get that set up. So I did think that was cool too. But as far as Starlink, I'm really happy with it. And if anybody has ever had to deal with like internet from satellite before, which I had not, but like this is not anything like Hughes or whatever. Like I heard that was the worst customer service ever, the worst service, most expensive. I mean, this was like the last resort for anybody that lived out in the country that was absolutely no internet provider. And they were subject to just what HughesNet could offer, these, almost dial-up type speeds, but at least you had some connectivity. Starlink is awesome. Like, the speeds. Well, here, I'll give you a metric. So that Ponies in the Smokies video, based on size and time, used to take a good 2 days to upload. And you're 2 days. Yeah. So I would transfer it to my phone and I would run errands and try to get as much of it out uploaded on cell data. The cell data is weak where I live. So I'm talking about out running errands where it's more prominent, get as much uploaded. But then when I would be at the house, it would be weak again and it would be very, very slow. So that back and forth would take a couple, sometimes even 3 days, depending if it was like a really long video. That Ponies in the Smokies video uploaded, I did it overnight and did it like 2 hours. It was fantastic. Like I've never had that luxury with uploading videos. My upload speeds are a snail's pace. So very, very happy with that. And it's pretty cool. Brian had nasal surgery. I hope you are feeling better and maybe it made an improvement. Yes. And hopefully you are doing better. Looks like I'm here until July. Some kind of breaks every couple of weeks. Is that maybe family breaks or going home? Oh, Ohio. Sorry. I should have picked that one up. The P threw me off and I thought it was an acronym for something. No, Ohio. And it's right next to the keyboard. Fat finger. Yeah. So hopefully, thank goodness, speaking of technology, if you're trips like that, video conferencing and being able to still talk to family and stuff back home, I think this is really, better time than any if you have to do something like that. We got BBBB. Hello, Mr. Mapman. Hello to you. Hope you're doing well and having a great start to your week. Everybody's saying hello. We got Chad and Natasha here. How are you doing? Hi, Mr. Mountain Man. Welcome to Mountain Man Monday. Hope you're having a great start to your week and a nice Monday. Let us know how you are doing. Scrolling through the comments, everybody's saying hello, 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 howdy, 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 howdy. Some tough time. You guys make my week a whole lot better. I see you guys Monday. Miss you guys when I can't be in the chat. Those weeks are tough as well. Again, don't worry. Whatever you need, you don't have to be here, but if you can and you enjoy it, just whatever is great for you and for anybody else for that matter. Some people listen in the background like a podcast type style, and some people are able to listen. Some listen later, and just hopefully bringing interesting content for you all. And again, I do my best to get on every Monday, but I would say my average cadence for, if you look historically, is close to every week, but is probably more like every 2 weeks. Rental company upgraded me to a Hemi Charger, drove it a week and traded it in for a Kia after a week with these guys. No, well, now that I understand. So yesterday, the gas prices. Yesterday, I needed to run an errand somewhat distance from where I was. And so I decided to dust off the bike, the motorcycle, and get it running because I've been riding a motorcycle, or at least had one, since 2003 or 4, something like that. And if you all remember, one of the hurricanes, I think it might have been Katrina back in the mid 2000s, whenever that was one of the first events that shot gas prices skyrocketing at the time. And for whatever it was at that time period, it was like astronomical to what anybody was used to. Well, having a motorcycle was great because if I only needed to literally get a couple of items from the grocery or just going to and from work at the time, I used the bike because the bike at that time was getting like, I don't know, whatever bike, that other 800 I had got probably 36, 38 miles to the gallon, something like that. And so yesterday I had an errand to run, and it was to get something from the auto parts store from the car. And it was a small item. So I just rode the bike and got it and ran other couple small errands, went and worked out. And so, because the motorcycle gets better gas mileage than the my car does. And so, yeah, I don't know what you all are at, but I think the national average is, over 4. California is nuts, like $5, $6. So definitely understand it. But I hope you had fun in that Hemi Charger. One thing, a great channel if you're into cars and such is, and most of this I see over on my other channel, but Jay Leno's Garage has some great, like, I don't know if you call them documentaries, but it's like, 20 to 25-minute videos about all kinds of cool cars. I tend to like classic muscle or new muscle cars as opposed to some of the European exotics, and some of those. They're cool cars. I don't have as much interest, but great channels over there or great channel to watch, and other related content. Let's see, cruising around in our Chrysler Pacifica minivan. That is a great car. The Pacifica. So we have a Grand Caravan, and the Pacifica is, so, the history on that. I mean, Grand Caravan, and the Dodge Grand Caravan is, oftentimes on like meaningful automobiles to the, historically to the landscape, whether it was the Model T or the first Mustang. The Dodge Grand Caravan in 1984 or 85, it came out, I believe, was really significant because it was the first minivan, and then there was kind of a lot of minivan competition. But surprisingly, I couldn't believe that they stopped making, or they were going to stop making, the Grand Caravan. Now, thankfully, in lieu of that, they've come out with the Pacifica, which is a wonderful car. A lot of people, this is crazy. It's all subjective. It's all tastes and opinions, but a lot of people don't like minivans. There's something about the, that name that makes it just conjures up like, like boring or old or slow or something. And so everybody out there would rather have an SUV of some flavor, shape, or size. I particularly still don't find a minivan to be that bad. I mean, especially if you look at the Pacifica, it's very sleek. Even our Grand Caravan, I have, an RT, the RT. I was like, if I'm going to have a minivan, I'm going to get the RT version. And so we've had 2 in a row. So anyway, the Pacifica is a great car, and it is really comfortable, and it could be a future one that we end up getting. I think the next automobile several years down the road will have to be probably a hybrid or something like that, I would think, maybe. You were a cool grandma. That's right, Blondie's in the you guys all have, is it white with orange lettering stripes on the CS, or blue? I can't remember. I feel like I've seen a picture of the car, but I don't remember exactly. I don't remember if it was a video or I'm just imagining I saw something. I can't remember. Let's see what's up next. Sorry. Oh, Mustang Names is Halo. Very cool. And sorry you're late to the meeting. We're not at work, so everything's all good, Mr. Carlos. Great to have you here. I hope you're having a great start to your week and a nice Monday. Let's see here. The baby gate put up looked nice. There's another one that was 10 months old. I have old videos. So the baby gate one, the reason I made the name The Eclectic Candyman is because that gave me the ability to be eclectic. Like I didn't have to have one theme on the channel. I could bounce around, and I do. I go from small repair videos to Mustang to tools, and I can do that because I'm eclectic. And so there was one in that department. I didn't think it would get a wide audience from my subscriber base, but I don't have to have a theme. Where that one is going to be useful is that product is very good because a top of stair gate, some people use them for pets, some people use them for small children or whatever other reason. I didn't realize I had to get educated. There is a big difference. I bought this gate off of Amazon and installed it at the top of the stairs and didn't realize it had a bar across the bottom. And as soon as I installed it, I'm like, you could trip on that and fall down the stairs. I'm like, something doesn't seem right about this. And I went out and did research, and I'm like, oh yeah, there is a difference between a top of stair gate and a bottom of stair. I didn't know that differentiation. I was just searching like baby gate. So I put that one downstairs, and then I was like, well, how's it work upstairs? So the gate swings, there's no bar at the bottom, but I was like, how do you mount without going into the banister, without drilling into it? And they make that kit. The kit is awesome, but the instructions were bad, and there's a video on the site, but it's just, it wasn't clear enough. I'm not talking about the quality of the video. It was too brief, and it didn't really get into it. So I thought that's a video that people are going to Google search and they're going to end up on, and it's hopefully going to help them. And so that was the idea of that video, but I don't expect anybody who likes Craftsman tools is going to watch that video. But nonetheless, I thought it'd be helpful, as I do a lot of those, and I just put it out there. You finally did your first live stream. You know what, Blondie? I used to be able to attend a few, but you kind of do them. You used to do them during the day, and that is more difficult to attend. But I know that used to be a big part of your channel. I had not realized that you were not doing that anymore, and so hopefully you enjoyed it, and certainly understand. I mean, kids, family. It's a handful, good handful, but it's a handful. Keeps you busy. Want to buy a motorcycle, and the cool thing is that motorcycles can be anywhere from $500 for a well-running one. Of course, you can, sky's the limit on the other side. But the nice thing about a motorcycle is, as far as, if you're older and have a pretty safe driving record and you get into a motorcycle, the insurance is usually not awful, especially if you loop it in with your other insurance you already have, like auto or whatever. And of course, gas is more reasonable. Depending on the climate where you live, sometimes you can ride 365 days a year and use it more than the car. The one thing I recommend for anybody who gets into motorcycling is to take the MSF course, motorcycle. It's the motorcycle safety course. I don't know if that F was Motorcycle Safety Foundation, but it's offered in all the states. Some states, I think you had to, if you took it, then you automatically got an exemption from taking the motorcycle test. Some states have that, some don't. I took it. Things that I learned in that class have been burnt into my mind about scenarios and safety situations and such. And I think it's extremely helpful to take the weekend and take that test. So anybody who gets into, and anybody who's a current motorcycle rider has never done it, I still recommend it. It's usually done like community college, and it does cost, I don't know, back in the day, it was like $150 or something, but it's worth it. You don't want to mess around with that. South Bend Cubby. Hi, Mr. Mountain. Hello to you. Hope you're having a great start to your week and a nice Monday. Let us know how you are doing. Glad to see a bunch of folks here. $6 here in my city in California. Yikes. That is crazy. $6 for a gallon of gas. I love Jay Leno's Garage. Yeah. And again, not every episode, but man, there's been some good ones about the Chargers, the classic Chargers, the Mustangs, the old 79 Firebird from Smokey and the Bandit. Lots of cool cars to watch over there. And he just, somebody put a comment the other day that resonated well. He said, there'll be 5,000 comments on a video, so it's not like he's reading them, but one of them was flipping around. I was like, I really appreciate these documentary or videos because, you don't have a lot of background music and, distractions. You just talk about the car, you have somebody on, you get straight to the meat and potatoes, you drive it, and it's just pure content. I've seen videos like that before, or pardon me, comments like that before. I remember one that stuck in my mind from years ago. I was looking at somebody else's chimney rock video and there was no music on it. And somebody said something to that effect, like, so glad you don't have that music playing in the background. So I go back and forth some between. I try to be more cognizant about whether background music adds to the theming of it or if it's just completely not needed. So anyway, there's a nice tangent. One of my oh goodness, on a motorcycle years ago. Please be careful. You do. One of the things I learned in the MSF course was, everybody has to kind of gauge their level of safety on a motorcycle. For example, if you're wearing motorcycle boots and motorcycle pants or jeans that have special stitching or leather, like chaps or leather gear, if you have on a coat with armor, leather gloves with armor, a Snell rated, at least obviously you have to have a DOT rated helmet, but a Snell rated helmet, which has even a higher level. When I was down in Florida and, at Daytona, and they'd have the 200 and people would be racing with all that gear on and fall off their motorcycle at 180 miles an hour and walk away. There would, and then bike week, almost always when there was a tragedy, it was somebody who they would say in the newspaper, such and such, if there was a tragedy on a motorcycle, almost always would be followed with wasn't wearing a helmet. I always wear a full face helmet. Most people don't like it. I remember when I used to ride around Daytona bike week, I was literally, you take 100 motorcyclists, there'd be one with a helmet. That was me. Maybe even a 500 sampling of motorcyclists, and I'd be wearing a full face. I want to enjoy, but I want to be safe. And so I wear a lot of gear, and I wear a lot of motorcycle specialty gear. Does it make it warmer? Sure, but you don't know any differently. For example, my wife was driving last week and some massive rock came up, and instead of hitting the windshield, it hit like the A pillar, I think it's called, which is the part of the body that goes up next to the windshield. It made like a 1-inch deep um, dent, not a chip, like a dent in the car. That would have not been fun on a motorcycle if you didn't have a helmet on or something like that. So anyway, you have a Jeep Liberty. That's cool. That's a nice car. Do you hear the passing of Ricky? No, I didn't. I'm sorry. Who is that again? Can you please refresh my memory? Who is that? I'm sorry. Please refresh my memory on who that is. And no, I did not. We had a Grand Caravan back when the kids were younger. Yep. It's a great car. I mean, minivan. I had to talk Natasha into it, but wouldn't trade this van in for the world. We ended up with black rims. Love it. Black on black. I saw yesterday on the motorcycle a black, basically a double black Chrysler Pacifica. And I was looking at it. I'm like, that is a sharp looking. It's all a personal opinion, but I'm telling you that black minivan to me looks a lot better than all these run-of-the-mill SUVs that all blend in together these days. Black with red is your Mustang. That is one of my favorite combinations. Is it black with red stripes or red with black stripes? Let me know. I love that color combo. Of course, my Cobra was red with black stripes. Have you ever been to the Asheville Radio Museum? It looks like it'd be a neat place to visit. I have not been to the Asheville Radio Museum, but I think I saw a documentary on it like a year ago. I want to say on PBS, I saw an excerpt of that. I've got to say goodnight, Mr. Mountain. Everyone have an early day tomorrow. This old man needs to hit the hay. Absolutely. And thank you for everybody bearing with me, later in the evening, but that's, kind of the schedule I got to run. But I hope you have a wonderful week. Jeep Liberty is going to the Firestone to figure out what's going on with it. Oh, okay. One thing I like about Firestone is, they are the only service shop that I'm aware of that offers a lifetime alignment. Yes, alignment, not rotate and balance. Almost all tire shops do that. Alignment. So when you get a new car, you go to Firestone, you pay a little bit more and get the lifetime alignment. And then whenever you want, I'd say on about a year cadence, you go in and you get your car aligned for free. Now they use it as a loss leader to get you to do other stuff, but I'm pretty disciplined on that. I would take the car in, be like, I need an alignment, get it aligned, and then I would just turn around and leave. So that is one thing I do like about it. Did you happen to see the video of the line of Teslas lined up at the Walmart parking lot waiting to use the chargers? 30 cars going to wait to buy an EV, get a very long cord. Yeah, that's what I was mentioning to somebody about, you must have to plan that out right now, because if you go on a road trip and you're not just driving around the city or, fully charged from home, going errands, going straight back home, like, I guess you get up a creek with no paddle if you don't have a charging station or whatever for a pure EV, and not a hybrid that you could at least get some gas. So, yeah, I didn't see the video, by the way. You'd cruise around on a Vespa. Well, I had a moped. When I grew up in Ohio, you could still, mopeds were still kind of a thing. And I had a 1983 5-star General moped. And for nostalgia's sake, I would buy it again if you could get it, but they are super rare. I'm not paying a lot for it. If it was still a thing, or there was a moped junkyard and I could put the parts together and reassemble it, I would. That was a 50cc. Mopeds were defined by no greater than 50cc or 2 brake horsepower. And I don't know, that was my foray into 2 wheels that was motorized. I'm 55 trying to get my motorcycle. Oh, you already have your license. Cool. Saw the YouTube channel NC Memory Makes, but they are a nice Christian couple. The lady's mom passed Friday after 2 months in the hospital. I'm not familiar with that channel, and I'm sorry to hear that about the family member there. Oh, Memory Makers is what you said, Makers. I'll have to check out that channel if I remember to. Yeah, sorry to hear about that. That man knows his cars for sure. I keep hoping to see him out cruising around. Oh yeah, like if you see him taping one of them, because he just drives around this wherever by his warehouse full of cars. He goes out with whoever the guest host is, or guest person that bringing in the car usually, and they go out and drive around. I'm like, yeah, people probably see him on occasion. Boys Adventure, have a great night. Hope you have a wonderful week. Hike with Mike is here. How are you doing, Mike? How's the hiking going on down in Florida? I'm sure we were talking about spring at the early part, so let us know how things are there. And I do appreciate that. On a motorcycle, never ride faster than your guardian angel can fly. That's right. They even have the little guardian angel like bell, I think, that you can put on the motorcycle. They're crazy out here on the motorcycles. Yeah, some people weave in and out of traffic and stuff. Like yesterday, I took the Blue Ridge Parkway to stay away from traffic instead of having to use the interstate and stuff. Not for the scenic purpose, but the purpose of kind of staying away from traffic. Smoky Mountain Man's got to go. Good night, Mr. Mountain Man. Everyone chat, head to bed. Yeah. I should get to the news here. So that because I know people have to, it's late. And yeah. And the person you mentioned, Rickley, had chimed in some time back. He hasn't been here for a while. Yes, you had trouble pronouncing his name. That's why I didn't pronounce his name on the first one, because I was like, yeah, I remember, was I saying Simono or Simona? And I apologize again, and I'm sorry, but I didn't know them well, and I can't remember they had been here, but I did not know that. Were they a regular in like live stream community? Because Ricky had maybe only been here, I think, a short period of time, because I do recall that Ted and Deborah Harrison about not being able to pronounce that name, but I am sorry to hear that. Mrs. Dell was here more than Ricky. Okay. Right. Right. I think I do remember. Well, I definitely remember mispronouncing the name, but again, I'm sorry to hear that. Prayers for that, for their family. That's a shame. The mopeds, everyone had those when I was in school. Yes. From you could get a moped at the age of 14 and get your moped license. So from 14 to 16, that was better than, the bicycle. I had a Honda Elite 80 not working. It's been out for 7 years. Ooh, fun. Small engine repair, though, is something fun to get into. They are from a place called Granite Falls, North Carolina. Not sure if you're familiar with that area. I'm not, but it sounds like something in Western North Carolina, just by the name. How is Ditta doing? My apologies. Let me get some water. She is doing well and will be here in the area full time in about another month or so. So she's excited and we're excited. And so hopefully you will be seeing more of her. And I'll have to let her know that you asked how things were going. I'm sure she will appreciate that. All right, let me get over into the channel updates here for the week of March 21st, 2022. I had to say it slowly because I was about to say like 2021. But we're already in March. I should not be saying last year anymore. Channel updates. I think I already kind of alluded to it. That my other channel, I released a video. If you haven't watched it, that video actually is kind of Mountain Man-esque because I traveled and did something. But because I wanted to be able to talk freely about cars and get into like the nuts and bolts of, the engines and stuff, I thought I might bore people over here. So that's why it was on that channel. But if you like that type of thing, it's kind of a fun video to watch. I meant to put a community post about it, but you can check it out if you want. I don't have anything new yet in the can here, and some busy weekends coming up. So in all transparency, the next video I do, it's never a shortage of ideas. I literally could write down 30 or 40 places I want to go, want to film, want to do. It's just a time constraint and busy constraint. So I'm quite honestly not sure when the next video on this channel will be released, but hopefully I can get something planned and organized here in the near future. Other than that, let's go ahead and take a look here at some of the Instagram pictures. Righty. So what do we got here? Can we see? Good. All right. So since we missed last week, this was that cold snap that we had. It said, Old Man Winter let us know he's still in charge here in the mountains. And so a couple of quick pics of the snow. Unfortunately, the daffodils or buttercups or whatever, I went and cut a bunch of them the night before because we knew this was coming through. And the next day, those stinkers and a lot of other things were just bloop. They had fallen over because I think it got down to 15 that night. It got very windy and very cold. Some cold front just swooped through. And yeah, it was kind of a dusting, and depending on if the sun was hitting or not, but nothing, enough for sledding or anything like that. But it was enough to let us know that winter was still here. And actually, like I mentioned, I don't mind this kind of snow. This was fun and neat to see something. It's always excited, but yeah. So a few people, we got some of the white stuff all the way down to Alabama. It was crazy because if you looked at if you look at a wide view of the United States in that front, it went like Alabama. I think maybe Georgia got some, and it was definitely hit through the South. That was not this past weekend, but a weekend ago. There's some burgers and corn. Winter cold blast, no problem. Burgers and corn on the for dinner on the grill. I always joke, you don't need July 4th or Memorial Day weekend or Labor Day weekend to be grilling around here. It's something I do almost weekly, and it's nice. There was a buck sitting out there. Of course, the reason these are kind of fuzzy is because I usually have to zoom. If I could have zoomed out a little bit, although they would have camouflaged because of all the leaves, this guy was near a pack of about 10 other deer. And so, yes, this was on St. Patrick's Day. So that was kind of fun. Hope you all had a fun, or just enjoying St. Patrick's Day. I wore a shirt, and, we had corned beef and sauerkraut. And it was, we put up some dollar store decorations and stuff like that. So St. Patrick's Day's fun. And very thankful we're able to do Dollywood again this year. It was kind of a, a last minute decision, but we were able to get season passes, and the train Cinderella, that steam locomotive there is just, it's a sight to see with your eyes, an old school engineering marvel with, real coal, and it's just really neat to see up close. And when you're on the train, you get that view of Mount LeConte, and it's very, very cool. It was a beautiful day on Saturday. The lines weren't that bad. We were a little late getting there, but we enjoyed the day. And then that was yesterday. You know what? Those leg quarters there were such a good deal at the grocery. 2 of them in a package on sale for like $1.50. All right. So you're talking about, on the left side, not the breast, you're talking about $5 in chicken, $5 for pounds of chicken. But they took forever to grill. And like, they were on the grill in direct heat because I didn't want to burn them. I wasn't trying to like barbecue them, but I wanted them to cook. They were on the grill for like at least an hour and a half at like almost 400 degrees. And I was like, these stinkers got to be done. And we usually like our chicken a little bit more on the done side than not. And the breasts were a lot easier to cook. I hadn't even flipped them at that point. But when that was done, I took those quarters inside and we cut into them. And actually, I knew right away because the plate started to have like red juice on the plate. Well, that's fine for red meat, but not for chicken. That means it's still undercooked. I couldn't believe it. So I had to like fillet them kind of, and cut a bunch of slits in them and throw them back on the grill and turn it up because pardon me. By that time, it was like 9:30 at night. It was too late to be eaten. I'm like, I don't have time for another 30 minutes on the grill. Turn it up, fillet them and put them on for like another 8 minutes, and then they were done. But that was kind of annoying. Like, they took so long. I don't know if maybe we didn't start thawing them till Sunday morning, so maybe they were a little frozen still or something like that. But anyway, there's your story about the chicken. So this was, I just posted this. This is a horrible picture, but because it was from super far away, and I'm like, zoom, zoom, zoom. But that's a white squirrel in the middle right there. And there's another picture. He was moving around. I mean, that looks weird. That looks like a little, like somebody drew a squiggly on the screen. But it was a white squirrel, and he was, kind of farting around over here and just messing around. Would like to get one closer. I think a while ago, I must have had another picture of a white squirrel that's better. But yeah, you do see them in the mountains here. And of course, there's that famous festival, or semi-famous festival over in Brevard, called the White Squirrel Festival. And I forget what time of the year it happens. But anywho, let's see. There are some comments here before I move to the news. You should bring Dit back once a month, if not more. You know what? In proximity to where I think she'll be living, I'm not sure, but with technology, I can always add her like I used to. I could have done that now, even though she was up in Ohio, but we'll try to do more things together, I'm hoping. And I appreciate that. Again, I'm always humbled by the support by you all and anybody. Thank you so much. Here comes the food portion, right, with the pictures. Chad, Natasha, great having you here. I hope you have a wonderful week. Thank you so much for stopping by. Thank you, Foxy, for posting the other channel there. Did you see the video of our show story with all the tater tots? It was the best one, was just a side order. I did not. I was talking with them because I think they were going to be heading over to North Carolina, but not my neck of the woods. And, but I haven't touched base since. I did not see that video. So I will need to look at that. Larry made to Knott's Berry Farm Saturday, kind of like Dollywood. Yes. And Knott's Berry Farm, I believe, is under the Cedar Fair Entertainment passes, right? So if you have a Gold or Platinum pass with Cedar Fair, I think you can go to all of the different ones, including Knott's Berry Farms. They used to be its own entity or owned by something else, but Cedar Fair swooped them up, right? I think. Um, you thought we were looking for Bigfoot. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, like maybe that tree is Bigfoot's foot. Like looks like a swan in the forest. The white squirrel is easy to spot this time of the year because of all the brown. So it really did contrast that right there. So it was easy to see. Once it gets green, the white on the green will still contrast, but it was just definitely noticeable right now. Get him free and free parking. That's cool. I remember I did that years ago. I was I had to go to a conference or something, and I was in Florida, and we were already living in Florida, but I had to go over to Orlando, and because we had Disney passes, I just went over to like Epcot one night and had dinner, and then watched the show, and then left. And so it's kind of neat when you have that. Um, First time you went since you've been here, it's only 20 minutes away. Yes. All right, cool. So that's the channel updates for this week. Let's go ahead and get over to the news and notes of the week of March 21st, 2022. All right, let me get this set up. Share screen. Well, we kind of already talked about this, but this was what is the spring forecast going to be for Western North Carolina or the Asheville area for 2022? It says, rejoice, Ashevilleans. That sounds like evil, right? Ashevilleans. The spring equinox is Sunday, March 20th. Thank you, Larry, again for letting me know. And with that, the promise of warmer days, blossoming landscapes, and yes, takes a deep sigh, pollen. Do you all have issues with, I thankfully have never had issues with allergies, but I know some people like they can't mow the lawn when all the pollen is out. It drives them crazy. They get sinus infections or headaches and like all kinds of stuff. But thankfully, I can mow the grass and do stuff like that. But I feel for people that do have the allergies. Personally, we think the weather is an underrated conversation topic. Well, not here on this live stream, it's not. So we peeked at some of the major weather trends headed our way over the next few months. Here's what you can expect this spring in the land of sky and beyond based on predictions from the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration's Climate Predictions Center. Temperature, think warm. Expect to see warmer than normal temperatures across much of the United States, with the exception of the Pacific Northwest, California coast, Larry, and upper Midwest, Larry, where temperatures are expected to be slightly cooler through at least April. In Asheville, there's a 40 to 50% chance of temps being hotter than usual. Usually, Asheville averages highs of 68 in April, 75 in May, 82 in June. Precipitation, keep your umbrella nearby. There's a 33 to 40% chance that rain will trend above normal through June. Usually, Asheville averages 3.5 inches of rain in April, 4.41 inches in May, and 4.3 inches in June. Yeah, so I remember, and if I recall that, so we have a river that runs through the area, French Broad River, and this was sponsored by the French Broad River Academy. But anyway, there's the actual river itself, which is right almost exactly at 2,000 feet in elevation, and it runs through town. Unfortunately, when we get some really, really heavy rains, the French Broad River will rise, and homes and areas that are close to it can get flooding. So normally when you think about mountains, flooding doesn't normally, but it's the valleys that, with where the rivers are. And of course, last fall donated to the United Way of Haywood County because of the flooding that they had there, which just by, coincidence, I was watching the news last week, and there's some businesses and places that are still, trying to repair and recover from that. That was a real mess. But anyway, back to the spring weather. It is here, and it should be very pleasant for the next couple of months. Well, it wouldn't be Mountain Man Monday if we weren't talking at least a little bit about Ghost Town. This is a cool article I tripped across, and maybe even a cooler picture. One of my favorite views, because that is the defunct roller coaster that existed there, which again, somebody here had been on that. I don't know if it was Foxy or Rita. Somebody has been on that roller coaster, and I can't remember if it was called the Red Tornado or I could Google it. But anyway, that there is a cool YouTube video of somebody with an old school, they didn't have GoPros back then, took like a VHS camera on the roller coaster. So there's like a first person um uh video that somebody made digital of that roller coaster, but it's basically hanging off the side of a mountain, and the views are incredible. And then of course you can see the town in the back there. But this article is really neat. I'm not going to read the whole thing, but it's like one to bookmark because it has a timeline history of all the owners and kind of ups and downs that the park had. It's almost like it's a great excerpt from a coffee table book if they had one on Ghost Town. Let me read a little bit of it though. Ghost Town in the Sky, a Western theme park started by R.B. Colburn in June 1961, was once the defining element in Maggie Valley. By the way, I don't know why last night, I hadn't watched it in a while, watched Tombstone. Love that movie. I think we were talking about it recently. Watched it last night. The amusement park lured numerous businessmen to the valley to open motels, restaurants, and other businesses. It wasn't until 1974 that the 250-year-around residents voted to incorporate. While Ghost Town was a clear economic driver early on, the amusement park's on-again, off-again operations couldn't be counted on as a regular tourist draw in the past 20 years. Here's a brief history of Ghost Town's beginning, as well as the numerous attempts to revive the amusement park. And this timeline, again, is really long. Let me read some highlights. Timeline. Founder R.B. Colburn owned and operated Frontierland in Cherokee and another theme park in Florida. He visited Maggie Valley in 1960 with the encouragement by current owner Alaska Presley opened a third park in Haywood. The park operated continuously until 2001, though Colburn sold it for a time, then bought it back. Ghost Town through the years. Early Maggie business owners said that the advertising spots purchased by Colburn turned the valley into a tourist destination. So I guess Maggie Valley has, in large part, to thank Ghost Town for putting it on the map. Many of the early business owners moved to the area to serve the beginning number of visitors who flocked to Ghost Town to not only experience the stage gunfights, old-time saloon atmosphere, complete with can-can girls, but meet many of the television and music stars who were brought to the park. By the way, if you're, comparing, this timeline is much earlier than Silver Dollar City and the boom that happened over in Pigeon Forge and Gatlinburg. So there's unfortunately a failure for multiple avenues here for not becoming something possibly bigger. But you know how it is. In the 1960s, the going rate to bring megastars like Dan Blocker of Bonanza fame was $5,000 a weekend, according to articles featured in The Mountaineer. Here's the significant events of the Ghost Town's 50-plus history. The Coburn years, 1960 to 2002, R.B. Coburn purchased land atop Buck Mountain, which for a time became widely known as Ghost Mountain, for a third theme park. He removed several small knolls on the mountain top to build an Indian village, a mountain town, and a mining town. In all, 40 buildings were constructed. Let's see. In 1961, Ghost Town opens in June, and visitors were transported to the park via an incline railroad, which tied into the Western theme. In 1962, when Ghost Town opened for the season, visitors could use either the incline railroad or a chairlift. Cost to visit the park was $1.50 for children, $2.50 for adults. Man, could use that. Can't even get a gallon of gas now for that. Stars of the popular television shows Lassie and Wagon Train created a popular draw for tourists and locals alike. Let's see. In 1970, Coburn sold all his parks to National Services for a stock swap. Reports at the time said Ghost Town struggled after the small park got lost in the shuffle of a company with much larger concerns to manage. Isn't that always a story? If you watch these like abandoned or companies that have gone under, I mean, it's always, a lot of it is driven from mismanagement of something that could have been better. And, you can even look at Kmart and Sears, even though those are brick and mortar companies, they didn't evolve at the right time. And, I don't want to go on too much of a tangent. I just always find that company so fascinating because it was, into the American fabric for so long. And, kind of the mismanagement of it on both sides and the continual acquisition of more brick and mortar companies while the internet was starting to boom had a, kind of a on-ramp for small companies like, oh, you ever heard of Amazon? And then, and then these other companies had trouble. So, this not, not unusual to hear something like this, considering its ultimate fate. In 1982, Ghost Town performers were invited to the World's Fair in Knoxville, where the gunfighters and can-can girls spent a day entertaining fairgoers. In 1983, country music stars Mel Tillis, Reba McEntire, and the Statler brothers were among the star attractions at Ghost Town, were all involved in a special filming project. Oh, here, 1984. A site is prepared for the $1 million Silver Bullet. I don't know why I thought it was red at a time, but anyway, a roller coaster that would barrel 900 feet down the face of Buck Mountain and become a signature attraction at the amusement park. The name was chosen because Coors was an early sponsor of the ride. The roller coaster's, here we go, name was later changed to the Red Devil and then to the Cliffhanger. 1986, RB Coburn bought Ghost Town back and put in the Red Devil roller coaster. I need to take off the banner. I just forgot. You guys probably can't see that. Promoting as the only thriller ride built out over the side of the mountain. He operated the park through 2002 season. 2002 to 2006, Ghost Town was closed. Then Ghost Town Partners LLC in 2006 purchased the park from owner and founder RB Coburn. The group secured 2 separate loans for $10 million to buy the park. In 2007, Ghost Town opens in May amid a flurry of excitement. Park officials won't disclose visitor numbers. Boy, that was a tough time because that is right when the financial crisis was about to hit. But overall, the number of people coming to Haywood County climbed by 22%. Park management promised to work on bringing 3 popular attractions back: the Incline Railway, the Cliffhanger, and the miniature train that looped the theme park. In 2008, the theme park reopened in 2008, but that was the year the economy tanked, largely due to the mortgage housing crisis that rocked the nation's economy. The major goals planned for the year were never accomplished. In 2009, park owners filed for protection against hundreds of creditors to whom they owed a cumulative $2.5 million in addition to the $9.5 million owned on the mortgage, but continue to operate under Chapter 11 bankruptcy. And then it keeps switching hands. In February 10, 35-foot wall of mud came crashing down Buck Mountain from a retaining wall in Ghost Town in the Sky Park property. The slide was preceded by days of snow and hard rain. Tons of mud and debris flowed over Rich Cove Road, the access road to Ghost Town, and displaced 40 residents. Lawsuits were filed against Ghost Town as well as the local contractor. Goes in default in a mortgage. Then Alaska Presley owned it. It goes on and on. Gets kind of specific about the ups and downs through the 2010 decade for sale. Then plans were delayed, and then had this plan and that plan. 2016 it wouldn't open. So it goes on and on. I probably get anyway. I find it super interesting. I thought it's cool. There's a really neat history there. Will it ever be resurrected and open to what it wanted to be? You know, that gentleman from Myrtle Beach, the real estate mogul, is trying to plan it out, but I think from a different vision with like mixed purpose, you know, housing and retail, restaurant, and part of the theme park. We've talked about that before. I haven't seen any new news on it, but nonetheless, it's just interesting. You have this like really cool and kind of esoteric theme park up the mountain that is a ghost town itself, because nothing is there. It is literally and figuratively a ghost town. And so, you know, it's a point of interest. A lot of people have done videos from there before. Let's see, catching up on any comments. Oh, I apologize. If I missed any comment, let me know what I am, what it was. But you're saying you're allergic to 250 out of 252 things. I have bad allergies. Wow. So sorry to hear that, Hope. I hopefully you can enjoy the spring, but that sounds pretty rough. We are supposed to have storms for the next 2 days. I want to put some fertilizer out for some of the plants before we get the next big rain. It's about high time for that. Normally I try to get it early in the spring. Only thing that I'm not allergic to was cats and dogs. Well, that's good because like I know people who are allergic to cats. That's really rough. And you're still recovering from the nasal surgery and the plugs on one side or the other. Yeah. I wrote it out on it and scared the crap out of me. This is in reference to the Red Devil / Silver Bullet. I thought it was going off the mountain. Once was enough. I bet, especially that part that goes on the outside there. I bet you that was pretty crazy, right? To see that, and then that loop. I mean, I think it went out like right. Didn't it come out the gate and kind of go down and then through the it's not called a loop, right? Isn't it called bear? I don't know. I forget the proper terminology on the roller coasters there, but I think it would be cool. Yes, Tombstone is one of my top 5 favorite movies. I heard it last night. I'm your Huckleberry. Fight's not with you, Holiday. And he says, oh, I beg to differ. We didn't finish our little game. Great movie. I mean, some movies age over time. That movie, I believe, was 1993. I saw it in the movie theater when it came out. It's just such a great Western. Like if you go back to like, and Charlton Heston makes an appearance, Henry Hooker's Ranch. He was Henry Hooker toward the end of it, right when that line, I'm your Huckleberry. But some of those older Westerns, you know, they've aged, and, you know, cinematography and all that stuff wasn't as good, but Tombstone holds water, even being, you know, 30 years, almost 30 years old. Ghost Town in the Sky would have been it would have been awesome to see it. Saw a picture of Dan Blocker at Ghost Town in the Sky. Ooh, that's cool. It was standing room only at the last meeting for the zoning at Maggie Valley. They're not giving up yet. Oh, wow. That's right. Did you read the article? I mean, you didn't like drive over there. Did you read it from that? I mean, but I had followed some articles too. And I know the town is interested because I think it would help them. But like anything else, some people I think are concerned. They don't want it to be like Pigeon Forge, but I highly doubt that would happen. I think it hurt the Sears name when Kmart bought them. Yes, it did. If you like that kind of thing, I think I've seen just about every halfway decent documentary about why Kmart failed or Sears. There are a lot of good ones out there on YouTube. It's one of the great things about YouTube. I mean, you can see all these like niche topics on anything you want to watch. I think it's fantastic. You took your daughter in 2000. It looked like it had seen better days then. Yeah, I'm sure at that point it had. It seemed like Ghost Town is like the Storyville theme park they are supposed to be building here in Nashville. You hear something about it once in a while. That's exactly what it is. It's like, it's almost like the aura of it, or like the thought of it is more than the theme park itself, right? A Hungry Hussy has a funny cooking channel. Okay, good, noted. Val Kilmer won an Oscar for that. Well deserved. By the way, speaking of Val Kilmer, if you have Amazon Prime, there is an excellent documentary he did on himself that came out within the last 6 months or so. You know, he got very sick, and I think it was throat cancer. And you know, he feels, you know, kind of shell of what he once was, of his former kind of glory of those days. But he has a very interesting personal story. It's a great documentary to watch. Oh, you were reading the article tonight. Oh, well, you must have read my mind in preparation for it. Looks like we got a troll. Hopefully somebody took care of that. Yes, he is in bad shape now. He is in bad shape, and it is sad. Make sure you watch the shorts video on that channel. You have to check that out. All right, moving along to the next article. The Curse of the Bradford Pear. We're going to learn something here, because I thought the Bradford pear, which blooms right about now, or give or take a week past or 2 weeks past to forth, depends on the weather. But I did not know these things were not great. From the article, all those white blooming trees, if you see everywhere, do you think they are pretty? If you knew what they actually represent, you would choke on your morning coffee and gag on your scrambled eggs. Wow, that's a vision. All those white blooming trees you see now are an environmental disaster waiting to happen right before your very eyes. Maybe some of you knew this. I didn't. So I think this is interesting. I'm talking about every white blooming tree right now, with the exception of wild plums, which is a short multiflora tree that seldom reaches over 8 feet in height. All the other white flowering trees in today's environment are an ecological nightmare, getting worse and worse every year. It's blooming right now. It's a curse. This especially applies to that charming Bradford pear you dim-witted landscaper planted in the middle of your front yard. Indeed, lack of smarts is what has led. Okay, get to the reason. Bradford pear is worse than kudzu, and the ill, which I know is bad, ill conceived of the Bradford pear will be cursing our environment for decades. When Bradford pear was introduced as an ornamental in 1964 by the U.S. Department of Agriculture, it was then that this tree possessed the weakest branch structure in nature. Also, the tree was assumed to be sterile. Bradford pears would seldom last more than 20 years before they bust themselves apart at the seams. That's actually good news. In an attempt to extend the lifespan of this despicable tree, other varieties such as the Cleveland Select were introduced. These trees will live about 25 years. After 25 years, the ill effects of this steep V-crotch branch structure, which all pears possess, take their inevitable course of action and cause pear limb structures to crack, split, and bust. You can't fool Mother Nature, and people who plant pears will sooner or later regret the choice. Planting pears borders on, if not cross the line of negligence. However, the fact that the Bradford pear trees are short-lived and dangerous is not the real reason these trees are such a disaster. The problem is that these trees are in fact not sterile. No two Bradford pears will ever reproduce among themselves, but they do cross-pollinate with every other pear tree out there, including Cleveland Select pear trees that were meant to be the salvation of flowering pears everywhere. The introduction of the other pear varieties has compounded the problem to the point where it is almost too late to rectify. Because of the cross-pollination problem, pear trees have now proliferated exponentially across our environment. To make matters worse, the evil offspring has reverted to the ancient Chinese Callery pears, which form impenetrable thorny thickets that choke out the life of pines, dogwoods, maples, redbuds, oaks, hickories, etc. When you see the fields of white flowering trees, please don't go get giddy of excitement over the white flowers. What you are looking at are the Callery pears destroying nature. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that right. Callery. Callery pears have 4-inch thorns. They can't be mowed down. Those thorns will shred John Deere tractor tires. They can only be removed by steel tracked dozers, decreasing the value of agriculture or forest land to the tune of $3,000 an acre. Make no mistake about this. That solitary Bradford pear growing in your yard is what caused this problem. Your one tree has spawned hundreds of evil issues. If you don't believe that, just take a little ride and notice all the white flowering trees blooming these days. The closer they are to ornamental Bradford pear, the thicker they are. You want to save the world, cut down your Bradford pear trees. I could not be more serious about this. For those of you regular readers, you have read this before. First time, welcome to the club. This is my annual Bashing the Bradfords column. If you ever go visit a plant nursery and want to know if it's good nursery or not, ask if they sell Bradford pears. All reputable nurseries are well aware of the evils of this tree and refuse to sell them. Don't let someone talk you into a Cleveland Select or other pear tree. All varieties of ornamental pear trees are equally bad. Save the world, eliminate Bradford pear trees, enjoy your coffee. All right. Did you all know this? First of all, I was expecting like that they were emitting like a disease or something like that. I guess the long and the short of it, skimming through that, their thorny nature and their rapid spreading, their choking out of other types of trees and such makes them a nuisance. I did not know that. Let me see if anybody else did know this. Seems like there's every time there's talking about reviving Ghost Town in the Sky, there's another global disaster, financial crisis, pandemic. Maybe they should quit before they kill them all. Yeah, that's unfortunate, their timeline, especially the financial crisis. Yes, the coaster went straight down, then around, then looped. Yeah, and again, there is a cool video of that out there. Let's see. Okay, so somebody did. The trees are beautiful, but I think these are all the ones that smell so bad. And I always got them confused. I used to call them dogwoods, but it's I guess they both bloom white, but I didn't know that the Bradford pears. Um, I had heard before what you read about the trees. Yeah, and you didn't know that either. Um, you had never heard of that. That's interesting. Okay. Yeah, it is interesting. And again, I also can't tell the difference between a dogwood and a Bradford pear. Both of them bloom white in the spring. Um, is the smell. Okay. Yeah. Um, so yes, that is something new. Learn something new about the Bradford pear tree. I don't have any of those planted, but every time it reminds me that spring is here. Last but not least, I know we're getting long in the tooth, the 7-day Asheville mountain forecast. We are in the thick of spring right now. It is 66, 43, high 60s, low 40s, a little bit of 30s, and it looks like Saturday, some lower 30s there. But this is pretty typical spring weather. No real threat of any snow anymore, unless that's Saturday. But I doubt it's going to be in the low 30s for that long. So we'll just have to see. I don't think it's calling for anything like that. But there you have it. That is the once again, that's the news and notes for the week of March 21st, 2022. And looking down there at the clock, it is very late. I know I skimmed through a bunch of the comments. If I missed anybody's, feel free to repost. And I apologize about that. I was skimming through because I had seen some of the comments to be removed. So I was just kind of scanning down. Dogwoods have flat flowers. I haven't seen, dogwoods have flat flowers. Are the Bradford pears more round or something like that? I'm not as aware about that. 80s out there in California. Well, hopefully it's not. I know sometimes you get in the triple digits in the summer. So hopefully you're not having to deal with that for a while. Well, anyway, folks, this is almost 11 o'clock. Let me get the right banner on here. So I think I'm going to call it a night. If there's any last comments, feel free to put them in the chat. And again, I hope everybody has had a great start to their week and a nice Monday. Hopefully you enjoyed the content. I will do my best to be on weekly. But like I said, I think I'm averaging about every other week, but with no consistency. Sometimes it's 4 weeks in a row, and then 2 weeks I miss, and then 2 weeks in a row, but on average. But definitely do my best to be here, even if it has to start at 9:30 Eastern. It looks like we still are able to capture a crowd, and of course, anybody's always able to watch this on delay if they would like to. Great live stream as always. Have a great week. Can you be a moderator? I can't do it from this screen. StreamYard does not let me. There are only two things that you can do from here, which is hide a user. No, put a user in timeout and block a user. And I have almost accidentally done that before. When I click on a banner and I'm like, no. So I always tell people, I'm like, please make sure if I accidentally do that to undo it. I can go back to the live stream and take a look at that for sure. Great live stream as always, because that way people can help if there's any rogue comments. Have a great week. Thank you so much, Rita. I really appreciate it. Glad I was able to catch most of the show tonight, Mr. Mountain. Thanks for another enjoyable evening. Absolutely appreciate it, Mr. Carlos. Let's see. What was another comment? Just trying to read if somebody's talking to me or somebody else. Thanks for another great Mr. Mountain Man Monday. Always entertaining and educational. Everyone have a great week and stay safe. Thank you so much. You as well, Larry. Foxy Wolf. Hope everyone has a great and safe week. I appreciate that. Excellent live stream. Have a great week, everyone. I absolutely will. And thank you so much. And yes, hope I will go back to the live stream and look at changing you over to a moderator. I know you're here a lot. And your prayers. That's the most important thing. Absolutely. I hope you begin to feel better. And anyway, I hope you all have a wonderful, happy, healthy, and safe week. And until the next time that we chat, you all have a good one. Good night, everyone, and we'll see you next time.